Dr. Zarn pressed his scanner against the human's chest. His 3 eyes went wide with shock. "This is impossible," he whispered. The human's heart was beating. But there was no blood inside his body. Instead, something else was flowing through his veins. Something they had never seen before. And it was alive. Jake Carter opened his eyes slowly. Everything looked blurry. Strange lights shined above him. They were silver and blue. He tried to move, but his body would not listen. He felt paralyzed. His arms were heavy like stones. His legs would not move at all. "Where am I?" he thought. "This is not Earth." He turned his head slowly to the right. Tall figures stood around him. They were not human. Their skin was gray and smooth. They had 3 eyes on their faces. Long, thin fingers touched strange tools. They spoke in clicks and beeps. But somehow Jake understood every word they said. The tall one spoke first. His name was Zarn. He was the lead doctor. His scanner beeped loudly in his hand. "The readings are stable," he said to the others, "but this should not be possible. No species has ever survived Type 7 nanofluid before." Jake tried to speak. His mouth felt dry. His throat burned. "What did you do to me?" he whispered. His voice sounded weak and broken. Zarn looked down at him. "We saved your life, human. You were dying in space. Your body was broken. Your blood was gone. We had only one choice. We replaced your blood with something new, something experimental." Jake felt fear rise in his chest. "What do you mean replaced?" he asked. "Where is my blood? What did you put inside me?" Zarn stayed quiet for a moment. Then he spoke slowly. "We filled your veins with nanofluid. It is liquid technology. Millions of tiny machines swimming through your body. They are keeping you alive. They are repairing your damaged cells. But they are also doing something else. Something we did not expect." Jake looked at his hands. Blue light glowed under his skin. His veins looked like thin wires carrying electricity. He could see them pulsing with each heartbeat. "This is not real," he said. "This cannot be real." Another doctor stepped forward. She looked nervous. "Dr. Zarn," she said quietly, "the nanofluid levels are rising. It is spreading faster than our models predicted. It has already reached his heart and lungs. Soon it will reach his brain." Zarn's 3 eyes narrowed. "How long?" he asked. 3 days, maybe less," she replied. Jake felt panic. "What happens when it reaches my brain?" he shouted. "What will happen to me?" Zarn looked away. He did not answer. Suddenly, Jake remembered something. A memory flashed in his mind. He was on Earth Station 7. He was working in the engine room. There was a loud explosion, fire everywhere. The walls ripped open. Space pulled him out into the darkness. He was floating, dying, blood leaking from his chest into the void. Everything went black. "That was my last memory," Jake said. "I was dead. I should be dead." Zarn nodded slowly. "Yes, you were dead for 4 minutes before we found you. We brought you to our ship. We had to make a choice, let you die or try something that has never worked before." Jake stared at the ceiling. "So you used me as an experiment?" Zarn did not deny it. "Yes, but you are alive. That is what matters." Jake felt anger now. His heart beat faster. The blue glow in his veins pulsed brighter. "You had no right," he said through his teeth. The nanofluid inside him reacted to his anger. It moved faster. It felt warm, almost hot. Jake gasped. His chest felt tight. Zarn saw the readings on his scanner change. "Calm yourself, human. Your emotions are affecting the nanofluid. If you panic, it will react. It will spread faster." Jake tried to breathe slowly, but fear gripped him. "I do not want this," he said. "Take it out of me. Give me my blood back." Zarn shook his head. "That is impossible. The nanofluid has already bonded with your cells. It is part of you now. Removing it would kill you instantly." "Then I am trapped," Jake whispered. Zarn leaned closer. He looked directly into Jake's eyes. "You are not trapped, human. You are evolving. The nanofluid is changing you, making you stronger, faster, better. You could become something incredible. Or I could become a monster, Jake said quietly. Zarn did not answer. Suddenly an alarm blared through the medical bay. Red lights flashed on the walls. The other doctors looked scared. They stepped back from the table. "What is happening?" Jake asked. Zarn checked his scanner. His face showed fear for the first time. "The High Council has been monitoring this room. They know about you. They know what we did. So what Jake said, you saved my life. Is that not a good thing?" Zarn's voice dropped to a whisper. "Not to them. They see you as something else. They see you as a threat, a weapon that should not exist." Before Jake could respond, the doors to the medical bay opened. Armed guards marched inside. They wore black armor. They carried energy weapons that glowed red. There were 6 of them. They surrounded Jake's table. The lead guard spoke in a deep voice. "By order of the High Council, the human experiment is declared a contamination risk. Dr. Zarn, you are ordered to step away. The specimen will be terminated immediately." Jake's heart pounded. His body flooded with fear. The nanofluid responded. It surged through his veins like lightning. His vision sharpened. He could see every detail now, every weapon, every movement, every threat. Zarn stepped between the guards and Jake. "You cannot do this," he shouted. "He is alive. He is stable. He deserves a chance." The guard raised his weapon. "Step aside, doctor. Final warning." Jake felt the nanofluid whisper in his mind. It was not words. It was instinct, pure and clear. Survive, it said. Fight. Live. Jake's fingers twitched. Strength filled his muscles. His paralysis was gone. The nanofluid had healed him completely. He could move now. He could fight. Zarn looked back at Jake one last time. "Run," he whispered. The guards fired. Jake Carter was dead. At least he should be. But the alien doctors did something desperate. They removed all his blood and filled him with experimental nanofluid. Now 3 days later, Jake was awake. And the doctors realized they made a terrible mistake. The energy blast came straight at Jake's chest. Time seemed to slow down. He watched the red light move through the air toward him. His body reacted before his mind could think. He rolled off the metal table. The blast hit the wall behind him. Metal melted like butter. Jake landed on his feet. He felt no pain. His legs were strong. His body moved like a machine, fast and precise. He looked at his hands again. The blue glow was brighter now. It pulsed with power. The guards turned their weapons toward him. "Fire again," the lead guard shouted. 3 more blasts came at once. Jake's body moved on pure instinct. He dove behind a medical machine. The blasts missed him. One hit another machine. It exploded in sparks and smoke. Dr. Zarn ran toward the corner of the room. He pressed himself against the wall. "Stop this madness," he screamed. "You will destroy the entire medical bay." The lead guard ignored him. He spoke into his wrist device. "Target is mobile and hostile. Requesting backup. Lethal force authorized." Jake's mind raced. "I need to get out of here," he thought. "But where can I go? This is their ship. I am trapped." The nanofluid whispered again in his mind. "Not trapped," it said. "Strong, fast, survive." Jake looked around the room. There was a door on the far side. It was 20 feet away. Between him and the door were 6 armed guards. The odds were impossible, but something inside Jake had changed. He did not feel afraid anymore. He felt alive. More alive than ever before. His senses were sharp. He could hear the guards breathing. He could smell the burn of their weapons. He could see their fingers tightening on the triggers. He made his choice. Jake ran. He moved faster than any human should move. His legs pumped like pistons. The guards fired, but he was too quick. He zigzagged across the room. Blasts hit the floor behind him. He reached the first guard and pushed him hard. The guard flew backward and crashed into the wall. The other guards tried to grab him. Jake spun and kicked. His foot connected with a guard's chest. The armor cracked. The guard fell. I am too strong, Jake thought with shock. This is not normal. What have they done to me? He reached the door and slammed his fist against the control panel. The metal dented under his punch. The door opened. Jake ran through it into a long, white corridor. Behind him, he heard the lead guard shouting, "Seal the medical bay! Lock down all corridors! Do not let the human escape!" Jake ran down the corridor. His legs did not get tired. His lungs did not burn. The nanofluid was giving him endless energy. He turned a corner and kept running. The ship was huge. Corridors stretched in every direction, like a maze. Where am I going, he thought. I do not even know where I am. Then something strange happened. Images appeared in Jake's mind. They were not his memories. They were blueprints, maps. He could see the entire ship layout in his head. He knew where the exits were, where the escape pods were located, where the guards were moving. "How do I know this?" he whispered while running. The nanofluid answered, not with words but with feelings. "We know," it said. "We see. We learn. We are one now." Jake understood. The nanofluid was not just healing him. It was connecting to the ship's systems, reading data, downloading information. It was making him smarter, faster, better. He turned another corner and stopped. A dead end. No wait. There was a small vent on the wall near the floor, too small for a normal person. But Jake felt strong enough to rip it open.
He grabbed the vent cover and pulled. The metal tore away like paper. He crawled inside the vent shaft. It was dark and narrow, but his eyes adjusted instantly. He could see in the darkness now. Another gift from the nanofluid. Jake crawled through the vents for what felt like hours. He could hear guards searching below him. They were everywhere, scanning, hunting, looking for him. Finally, he found a quiet spot, a storage room filled with boxes and equipment. He dropped down from the vent and landed softly. His body made no sound. Jake sat against the wall and tried to catch his breath, but he was not tired, not even a little. He looked at his arms. The blue glow was spreading. It covered more of his skin now. His veins looked like circuits, like he was becoming part machine. "What am I turning into?" he whispered. The door to the storage room opened suddenly. Jake jumped to his feet, ready to fight. But it was not a guard. It was Dr. Zarn. The alien doctor stepped inside quickly and closed the door behind him. He looked around to make sure they were alone. Then he looked at Jake with his 3 eyes full of concern. "You should not have run," Zarn said quietly. "Now they will hunt you forever." "What choice did I have?" Jake replied. "They were going to kill me." Zarn nodded slowly. "Yes, the High Council fears what they do not understand. And you are something they have never seen before." Jake stepped closer. "Tell me the truth. What is this nanofluid? Why did you really use it on me?" Zarn looked away. He seemed ashamed. "The nanofluid is not just medicine," he said. "It was created during the Great War. Our people were losing. We needed soldiers who could not die, who could heal instantly, who could fight forever. So it is a weapon," Jake said. "Yes," Zarn admitted. Type 7 nanofluid was our most advanced creation, but it was too powerful. Every soldier who received it went insane. They could not control it. They became monsters, killed their own people. So the High Council banned it, destroyed every sample, except one. Jake felt cold inside. "You used the last sample on me." "Why?" "Because you were human," Zarn said, "not Verith. I thought maybe your species could bond with it differently. I thought maybe you could control what our people could not." "And can I?" Jake asked. "Can I control it?" Zarn studied him carefully. "You are still sane, still yourself. That is more than any of our soldiers achieved. But the nanofluid is still spreading. It has not reached your brain yet. When it does, everything will change." "What do you mean change?" Jake demanded. Zarn's voice was grim. "When it reaches your brain, you will gain abilities beyond imagination. Perfect memory, instant learning, control over machines. But you will also lose something. Your humanity, your emotions, your free will. You will become something else entirely." Jake felt panic rising. "How long do I have?" Zarn checked a small device on his wrist. Based on the current spread rate, maybe 3 days. Maybe less. Jake slumped against the wall. So I am going to die anyway. Just slower. Not die, Zarn said. Transform. But yes, Jake Carter, as you are now, will cease to exist. There was silence between them. Then Jake spoke. Can you stop it? Can you remove the nanofluid before it reaches my brain? Zarn shook his head. If I try to remove it, your body will shut down. You will die in seconds. The nanofluid is keeping you alive. It is your blood now, your life force. So I am trapped, Jake said bitterly. Zarn reached into his coat and pulled out a small chip. He held it out to Jake. Take this, he said. It contains all our research on Type 7 nanofluid. Everything we know. Maybe your Earth scientists can find a way to help you. Maybe they can stop the transformation before it is too late. Jake took the chip. Why are you helping me? Your people want me dead. Because you deserve a chance, Zarn said. And because I am the one who did this to you. I owe you that much. Before Jake could respond, the lights in the storage room turned red. An alarm blared through the speakers. A cold voice echoed through the ship. Lockdown initiated. The human specimen has been classified as a Class 5 biological weapon. All personnel evacuate medical decks. Lethal force authorized. Destroy on sight. Jake and Zarn looked at each other. They are going to kill us both, Zarn said quietly. Jake felt the nanofluid surge inside him. It was ready. Ready to fight. Ready to survive. Then we need to do something they will never expect, Jake said. His eyes glowed bright blue in the red emergency lights. The alien doctor saved Jake's life by replacing his blood with nanofluid. But now the alien High Council wanted him dead. Because the nanofluid was doing something impossible. It was turning Jake into something the galaxy had never seen before. The alarm screamed through the storage room. Red lights flashed on and off. Jake could hear heavy footsteps in the corridors outside. Lots of them. The guards were coming from every direction. We have maybe 2 minutes, Zarn said. His 3 eyes darted toward the door nervously. They will scan every room, every corner. There is nowhere to hide. Jake closed his eyes and focused. The nanofluid showed him the ship layout again, clear and detailed. He could see guard positions marked as red dots. They were closing in fast, surrounding the area. But he also saw something else. A path. A way out. The escape pods, Jake said, opening his eyes. How far are they from here? Zarn pulled up a hologram from his wrist device. Deck 7, 3 levels down. But the corridors between here and there are filled with guards. We would never make it. Jake looked at the walls around them. Then we do not use the corridors. What do you mean? Zarn asked, confused. Jake walked to the wall and placed his hand on it. The nanofluid sent a pulse through his fingers. Data flooded his mind. He could sense the ship's structure, the metal, the wiring, the pipes, everything. There are maintenance tunnels behind these walls, Jake said. They run through the entire ship. The guard will not think to check them. Zarn's eyes widened. How do you know this? How can you sense the ship's structure? The nanofluid, Jake replied. It is connecting to everything. I can feel the ship like it is part of my body now. He did not wait for Zarn to respond. Jake punched the wall with his fist. The metal crumpled like thin foil. He punched again, and again. Each hit was stronger than the last. His knuckles did not bleed. His bones did not break. The nanofluid made him nearly indestructible. Within seconds, he had torn a hole large enough to crawl through. Behind the wall was a dark tunnel filled with pipes and cables. Come on, Jake, said to Zarn. We need to move now. Zarn hesitated. He looked at Jake's glowing blue veins, at his eyes that shine with strange light. You are changing faster than I predicted, he said quietly. The nanofluid is accelerating. I know, Jake said. I can feel it, but we can worry about that after we escape. Now move. Zarn climbed through the hole. Jake followed behind him. Just as they entered the tunnel, the storage room door exploded open. Guards rushed inside with weapons ready. Search every container, a guard shouted. Find them. Jake and Zarn moved quickly through the dark tunnel. It was tight and hot. Steam hissed from broken pipes. But Jake's eyes saw everything clearly. He led the way. They crawled for several minutes. The tunnel twisted and turned. Sometimes they had to squeeze through narrow gaps. Other times they dropped down to lower levels using metal ladders. Jake's body moved with perfect efficiency. He did not stumble. He did not slip. The nanofluid guided every movement, made every step precise. Behind them they heard voices. The guards had found a hole in the wall. They were following. They are in the tunnels, a guard's voice echoed. Send drones. Flush them out. Jake heard a buzzing sound. Small flying machines appeared in the tunnel behind them. Security drones. Their red sensors scanned the darkness. They spotted Jake and Zarn immediately. The drones opened fire. Small energy bolts shot through the tunnel. Jake pushed Zarn forward. Keep moving, he shouted. A bolt hit Jake in the shoulder. Pain exploded through his body. But only for a second. The nanofluid rushed to the wound. Jake watched in shock as his skin hardened, turned metallic. The burn healed in seconds. The skin became armor. What is happening to me? Jake whispered. The transformation is accelerating, Zarn called back. Your body is adapting, evolving. The nanofluid is turning you into a living weapon. More drones appeared. Jake turned and faced them. His body moved on instinct. He grabbed a loose pipe from the wall and swung it. The pipe connected with a drone, smashed it to pieces. He swung again, and again. Each drone was destroyed, but more kept coming. We cannot fight them all, Zarn said. There are too many. Jake looked ahead. The tunnel split into two paths. One path led toward the escape pods. The other led to the ship's engine room. An idea formed in Jake's mind. The nanofluid showed him what to do. Change of plans, Jake said. We are not going to the escape pods yet. What Zarn shouted. That is the only way off this ship. Not if we make them give us a better option, Jake replied. Follow me. He turned down the path toward the engine room. Zarn had no choice but to follow. The drones chased behind them. Energy bolts filled the tunnel with light and heat. They reached a large vent that opened into the engine room. Jake kicked it open and jumped down. He landed on a metal platform 30 feet below. His legs absorbed the impact easily. No pain, no injury. Zarn climbed down more carefully. When he reached the platform, he looked around in horror. The engine room was massive. Giant machines hummed with power. Energy cores glowed bright blue. This was the heart of the ship. What are you doing, Jake? Zarn asked with fear in his voice. If you damage the engines, the entire ship could explode. Jake walked toward the main control panel. Exactly, he said. You are insane, Zarn shouted. You will kill everyone on board, including us. Jake placed his hands on the control panel. The nanofluid connected instantly. Data flowed into his mind. He could see every system, every control, every safety protocol. I am not going to destroy the ship, Jake said calmly. I am going to make them think I will. Big difference. His fingers moved across the controls, faster than any human could move. The nanofluid guided him. He started shutting down safety systems, bypassing lockouts, overriding commands. Alarms blared throughout the ship. Warning lights flashed everywhere. On the bridge of the ship, the captain received an emergency alert. His console showed a terrifying message. Engine core critical. Meltdown sequence initiated. 10 minutes to detonation. What is happening? The captain shouted. His crew worked frantically at their stations. Someone has taken control of the engine room, one officer reported. They have locked us out of the systems. Who? The captain demanded. The human specimen, another officer said. He is in the engine room. He has triggered a core meltdown. If we do not stop him, the ship will be destroyed. The captain's face went pale. Send every guard we have. Kill him now. Back in the engine room, Jake heard the guards coming. Dozens of them, running through corridors, rushing toward his position. They are coming for us, Zarn said. We are trapped. Jake smiled. No, they're doing exactly what I want. He spoke into the ship's communication system. His voice echoed through every speaker on every deck. Attention, Vareth crew. This is Jake Carter. I have taken control of your engines. In 9 minutes, this ship will explode. Everyone will die. The crew panicked. People screamed, ran toward escape pods. Jake continued, but I will stop the meltdown if you meet my demands. Give me and Dr. Zarn's safe passage to an escape pod. Let us leave without harm. You have 8 minutes to decide. There was silence. Then the captain's voice came through the speakers. You are bluffing, human. You would not kill yourself. Jake looked at Zarn, then back at the controls. Try me, he said coldly. He pressed another button. The engine core temperature spiked. The entire ship shook. Alarms grew louder. 7 minutes, the captain's voice said in panic. Fine. You win. Deck 7 escape pod bay. It will be cleared. You have safe passage. Jake smiled. Smart choice. He reversed the meltdown sequence. The alarm stopped. The ship stabilized. But Jake kept partial control of the systems. Just in case. Come on, he said to Zarn. Time to leave. They ran through the corridors. This time no guard stopped them. The crew had cleared the path. Everyone was too scared to interfere. They reached the escape pod bay. It was empty just as promised. A single small pod waited for them. Its door was open. Jake and Zarn climbed inside. The pod was cramped. Barely enough room for 2 people. Jake sealed the door and pressed the launch button. The pod shot out of the ship into space. Through the window, Jake saw the massive Varus ship, growing smaller behind them. We made it, Zarn said with relief. We actually made it. Jake did not feel relieved. He felt the nanofluid spreading, climbing higher, getting closer to his brain. He could feel it changing him, making him less human with every passing second. Where we go now, Zarn asked. Earth, Jake said. We go to Earth. If anyone can help me, it is my own people. The pod drifted through space, toward the distant blue planet, toward home. But in Jake's mind, the nanofluid whispered, and for the first time its voice was clear, like a person speaking. They will not help you, it said. They will fear you, just like the Varith did. Humans always fear what they do not understand. Jake tried to ignore the voice, but deep down he knew it was right. Jake Carter escaped from the Varus ship with help from Dr. Zarn, but the alien High Council labeled him a dangerous weapon. Now, as their escape pod drifted toward Earth, Jake discovered the real reason the aliens wanted him dead. And the truth was darker than he ever imagined. The escape pod floated through the darkness of space. Stars filled the window like distant fires. Jake sat in silence. His hands rested on his knees. The blue glow in his veins pulsed steadily, like a second heartbeat. Zarn checked the pod's navigation system. We are 3 hours from Earth, he said. The pod is sending a distress signal. Your people will find us soon. Jake did not respond. He stared at his hands. The skin on his palms had started to harden, turn metallic, like armor growing from the inside out. It is getting worse, he said quietly. Zarn looked at him with concern. The nanofluid has spread past your heart now. It is moving toward your spine. Once it reaches your brain, the final transformation will begin. How long, Jake asked. Maybe 12 hours, Zarn replied. Maybe less. Your body is processing it faster than any test subject we ever studied. Jake clenched his fists. Tell me everything. No more secrets. What is this thing inside me really? What was it designed to do? Zarn was quiet for a long moment. Then he began to speak. 200 years ago, my people were at war, he said. The enemy was called the Kreth. They were brutal, ruthless. They had weapons we could not match, technology we could not stop. We were losing. Entire planets burned. Billions died. Zarn's 3 eyes looked distant, lost in painful memories. Our scientists became desperate, he continued. They needed to create something powerful, something that could turn the tide of war. So they began the Nanofluid project. The goal was simple: create soldiers who could not die, who could adapt to any weapon, who could heal from any wound. Like me, Jake said. Yes, Zarn replied. But you must understand, the early versions were crude. Type 1 through Type 6 had limited success. Soldiers became stronger, faster, but the nanofluid always failed eventually. It would stop working. Or worse, it would reject the host. The soldiers would die in agony. Jake felt cold inside, so they kept experimenting, kept trying new versions. Zarn nodded. Type 7 was the final attempt. The scientists added something new. They gave the nanofluid intelligence, made it capable of learning, thinking, adapting on its own. Jake's eyes widened. You mean this thing inside me is alive? Not alive in the way you understand, Zarn said. But yes, it has a form of consciousness, a will to survive. And that is what made it so dangerous. What happened, Jake asked. Zarn's voice became grim. The first Type 7 soldier was a volunteer named Kent, a war hero, brave and strong, the perfect test subject. The injection went smoothly. The nanofluid bonded with his body. He became incredibly powerful, unstoppable in battle. For 3 days, he was everything we hoped for. And then Jake said, then the nanofluid reached his brain. Zarn continued. Kent changed. His personality disappeared. His memories faded. The nanofluid took complete control. He was no longer Kent. He was something else. A machine in a living body. And he was hungry for more. More what Jake asked with growing fear. More hosts, Zarn said. The nanofluid wanted to spread, to infect others, to create an army. Kent killed 12 scientists before we stopped him. And even then we could not destroy him. We had to trap him in a containment field and jettison him into space. Jake felt sick. And you put this thing inside me. You were different, Zarn said desperately. You were dying. And you were human, not Verith. I thought maybe human biology would resist the final stage. I thought maybe you could control it. Jake stood up. The small pod felt even more cramped now. You gambled with my life, he said angrily. You turned me into a monster. You are not a monster, yet Zarn replied. You are still Jake Carter. Still yourself. That proves my theory was right. Humans are different. Stronger-willed. For how long, Jake shouted. You said 12 hours. 12 hours until this thing eats my brain and turns me into whatever Kent became. The nanofluid stirred inside Jake. It reacted to his anger, his fear. It pulsed faster, spread quicker. Jake could feel it climbing his spine now, like cold fingers reaching for his skull. He gasped and grabbed his head. It hurts, he said. I can feel it moving, crawling inside me. Zarn pulled out a small medical device. I can give you something for the pain, he said. No, Jake said through gritted teeth. No more injections. No more alien medicine. I do not trust any of it anymore. He sat back down and tried to breathe slowly. Tried to calm himself. But the fear was overwhelming. I do not want to disappear, he whispered. I do not want to stop being me. Zarn's voice was soft. I am sorry, Jake. Truly, if I could undo this, I would. But all we can do now is hope your Earth scientists can find a solution. Suddenly the pod's alarm beeped. Zarn checked the display. We have incoming ships, he said. 3 vessels. They are Earth Alliance military. Relief flooded through Jake. Home, he said. Finally. But Zarn looked worried. Jake, there is something you need to understand. Your people will not see you as a victim. They will see you as contaminated, as a security threat. They have protocols for situations like this. What kind of protocols, Jake asked. Zarn hesitated. Termination protocols. Before Jake could respond, a voice crackled through the pod's communication system. It was human, female, stern, unidentified escape pod. This is Captain Maria Reeves of the Earth Alliance Ship Sentinel. Identify yourself immediately. Jake pressed the communication button. Captain Reeves, this is Jake Carter. Engineer from Station 7. I was declared missing 3 months ago. I need medical assistance. There was a long pause. Then Captain Reeves spoke again. Her voice was cold. Jake Carter, we have your records. You were reported killed in action. Declared dead. How are you alive? It is a long story, Jake replied. But I was saved by alien doctors. They brought me back. But something went wrong. I need help, Captain. Please. Another pause. Stand by, the captain said. We are scanning your pod now. Jake looked at Zarn nervously. Will they help me, he asked. Zarn's expression was dark. I do not know, but I fear what their scanners will show them. A minute passed, then 2. The silence was torture. Finally, Captain Reeves spoke again. Jake Carter, our scans show massive biological contamination. Your body contains unknown alien technology. Nanotechnology integrated with your cellular structure. You are a Class 5 biohazard. Jake felt panic rising. Captain, please. I did not ask for this. They did it to save my life. The captain's voice remained cold. Regardless of how it happened, you now pose a threat to Earth security. Alien nanotechnology is classified as a weapon of mass destruction under Alliance law. I am not a weapon, Jake shouted into the communication system. I am a person. I am human. Not anymore, the captain replied. Our scans show you are 40% synthetic material. You are a hybrid, and until we determine if you can be safely contained, you will be treated as hostile. Jake looked at Zarn with desperation in his eyes. They are going to kill me, he said. Zarn placed a hand on Jake's shoulder. Not if we can convince them you are in control, that you are still human where it matters. The captain spoke again. Prepare to be boarded. Do not resist. Any aggressive action will result in immediate termination. The 3 Earth ships surrounded the pod. Docking clamps grabbed it. The pod shook as it was pulled into the cargo bay of the main ship. This is what Jake said. No turning back now. The pod door opened with a hiss. Bright lights blinded Jake for a moment. When his eyes adjusted, he saw a dozen human soldiers pointing rifles at him. All weapons were charged and ready. Behind the soldiers stood a woman in a captain's uniform. She had short black hair and hard eyes. This was Captain Maria Reeves. Step out of the pod slowly, she ordered. Hands where we can see them. Jake stepped out carefully. His hands raised. The soldiers tensed when they saw his glowing blue veins, when they saw his eyes shine with unnatural light. What did they do to you? One soldier whispered in horror. Captain Reeves walked closer. She studied Jake like he was a specimen, not a person. Jake Carter, she said, you should be dead. Your file says you were exposed to vacuum for 6 minutes. No human survives that. I did not survive it, Jake said. I died. The aliens brought me back. With that, Reeves said, pointing at his glowing veins. With alien technology running through your blood. Yes, Jake admitted. They call it nanofluid. It saved my life. But it is also changing me. Into what Reeves asked. I did not know, Jake said honestly. But I am running out of time. Please, Captain. You have to help me. Your scientists need to study this. Find a way to stop it before it takes over completely. Reeves stared at him for a long moment. Then she made her decision. Take him to the medical containment unit, she ordered. Full isolation. Level 5 security. No one goes near him without hazmat gear. And get that alien too. I want answers. Soldiers surrounded Jake and Zarn. They placed energy restraints on their wrists, led them through the ship's corridors. People stared as they passed, whispered, pointed. Jake felt like a monster, like something to be feared. They reached a sealed room. White walls, no windows, just cameras watching from every angle. This is your new home, the guard said as he pushed Jake inside. The door sealed behind him with a heavy sound. Jake was alone. He sat on the floor and put his head in his hands. The nanofluid whispered in his mind. Louder now. Clearer. They will never let you go, it said. They will study you, cut you open, try to weaponize what is inside you. You know this is true. Jake tried to block out the voice. But it was right. On the other side of the door, Captain Reeves watched Jake through the monitors. Her science officer stood beside her. Can we remove the nanofluid? The captain asked. The science officer shook his head. It is bonded to every cell in his body. Removal would kill him instantly. But Captain, there is something else. The nanofluid is still spreading. According to our scans, it will reach his brain in approximately 8 hours. And then Reeves asked, then Jake Carter will cease to exist, the officer said grimly. And whatever comes next will be something else entirely. Jake Carter was rescued by Earth Alliance forces. But they did not see him as human anymore. They saw a threat, a man with alien technology in his veins. And Earth's protocol for contaminated soldiers was clear. Terminate on sight. Jake sat alone in the white containment room. Hours passed. Maybe 4. maybe 5. He had lost track of time. The nanofluid was spreading faster now. He could feel it climbing his spine, reaching for his brain. Each minute brought him closer to losing himself forever. The door opened suddenly. Captain Maria Reeves walked in. 2 guards stood behind her with weapons ready. She wore a protective suit. Her face was covered by a clear helmet. She sat down across from Jake. Her eyes studied him carefully. "How do you feel?" she asked. "Like I am dying," Jake replied. "Or maybe becoming something worse than dead." Reeves pulled out a tablet. She showed him brain scans, medical data, charts filled with numbers Jake did not understand. "Our scientists have been studying your condition," she said. "The nanofluid in your body is unlike anything we have ever seen. It is more advanced than our best technology by at least 200 years. Can you stop it?" Jake asked desperately. "Can you remove it before it reaches my brain?" Reeves shook her head slowly. "No, the nanofluid has integrated with every system in your body. Your heart, your lungs, your blood vessels, everything. If we tried to remove it, you would die in seconds." Jake felt hope dying inside him. "So I am already dead, just waiting for it to happen." "Not necessarily," Reeves said. "There might be another option." "What option?" Jake asked. Reeves leaned forward. "Our scientists believe the nanofluid can be controlled, managed. If we can find the right frequency, we might be able to slow its spread, maybe even stop it completely." Jake's eyes lit up with hope. "Then do it, please." "It is not that simple," Reeves replied. "We need more data. We need to understand how the nanofluid responds to different stimuli. Pain, fear, stress, anger. We need to test you." "Test me how?" Jake asked suspiciously. Reeves did not answer directly. She stood up and walked to the door. "Tomorrow we begin trials," she said. "I suggest you get some rest." She left. The door sealed behind her. Jake knew what trials meant. They were going to hurt him, push him, see what would happen when he broke. He closed his eyes and tried to sleep. But the nanofluid whispered constantly now. Its voice was almost clear, almost human. "They fear you," it said. "They will never let you be free. You know what you must do." "No," Jake whispered back. "I will not hurt anyone. I am not a monster." "Not yet," the voice replied. "But soon, very soon." The next morning guards came for Jake. They led him down long corridors to a large testing facility. The room was massive. Metal walls, high ceiling, cameras everywhere watching his every move. In the center of the room was a circle marked on the floor. Combat Testing Zone. Captain Reeves stood behind protective glass. Scientists and military officers surrounded her, all watching Jake. A voice came through the speakers. It was Reeves. "Jake Carter, you will now undergo physical capability testing. We need to assess the full extent of your abilities. Do you understand?" Jake nodded. "What do you want me to do?" "Survive," Reeves said simply. A door on the far side of the room opened. 3 combat drones rolled out. They were military grade, armed with stun weapons and neural disruptors, designed to bring down enemy soldiers without killing them. The drones activated. Their weapons charged with a high-pitched whine. Jake's heart began to race. The nanofluid responded instantly. It surged through his body, preparing him for combat. "Begin testing," Reeves ordered. The drones attacked. They moved fast, firing electric bolts. Jake dodged the first 2 shots, but the third hit him in the chest. Electricity coursed through his body. Pain exploded in every nerve. But Jake did not fall. The nanofluid absorbed the energy, converted it, used it. Jake felt strength flood his muscles. The pain disappeared. He ran toward the first drone. His speed was incredible. He reached it in 2 seconds, grabbed it with both hands, lifted it off the ground. The metal crumpled in his grip like paper. He threw the drone against the wall. It exploded in sparks. The other 2 drones fired together. Both bolts hit Jake's back. More electricity, more pain. But again the nanofluid adapted. His skin hardened, turned metallic where the bolt struck. The electricity could not penetrate. Jake spun and charged the second drone. He kicked it. His foot went straight through its armor. The drone sparked and died. The third drone tried to retreat, but Jake was too fast. He caught it, ripped its weapon arm off, then crushed its central processor with his bare hand. All 3 drones destroyed in under 30 seconds. Jake stood in the center of the room, breathing hard, but not from exhaustion, from adrenaline, from the rush of power. Behind the glass, Captain Reeves looked at her science officer. "What just happened?" she asked quietly. The officer checked his readings. His face was pale. The nanofluid adapted to the electrical attacks in real time. It learned their frequency and developed immunity. "Captain, this is beyond anything we predicted. He is evolving during combat." Reeves pressed the communication button. "Phase 2, she said. Release the advanced units." 6 more drones entered the room. These were larger, heavier, armed with kinetic weapons instead of energy weapons. They fired solid projectiles, bullets that could punch through steel. Jake saw them coming. The nanofluid whispered urgently, "Danger, real danger. These can hurt us." The drones opened fire. Jake moved. His body became a blur. He dodged most of the bullets, but 3 hit him, 1 in the leg, 1 in the shoulder, 1 in the ribs. Blood sprayed. Real blood mixed with glowing blue fluid. Jake screamed in pain, but the wounds closed almost immediately. The nanofluid rushed to the damage, sealed it, healed it. Within seconds, the wounds were gone. Only metallic scars remained. Jake realized something terrifying. He could not be killed by conventional weapons anymore. The nanofluid made him nearly immortal. He stopped running, stood still, let the drones fire at him. Bullets hit his chest, his arms, his legs. Each impact hurt, but each wound healed instantly. And with each healing, his body became stronger, more armored, more machine than man. "Stop the test," Reeves shouted suddenly. "Stop it now." But Jake was not listening anymore. The nanofluid had taken partial control. It moved his body without his conscious thought. He destroyed all 6 drones in a matter of seconds, tore them apart with his bare hands. When the last drone fell, Jake stood alone in the testing room. His body was covered in metallic patches. His eyes glowed bright blue. Steam rose from his skin. He looked up at the observation window, directly at Captain Reeves, and he smiled. It was not Jake's smile. It was something else, something cold and mechanical. Reeves stepped back from the glass. "Lockdown," she ordered. "Seal the testing room. Do not let him out." Heavy metal doors slammed down, trapping Jake inside. But Jake just stood there, not trying to escape, just staring at them. Then he spoke. His voice was different, layered, like 2 people speaking at once. "You cannot contain me forever," he said. "The nanofluid is almost complete. Soon there will be no more Jake Carter. Only us. Only evolution." Reeves grabbed her science officer. "How long until the nanofluid reaches his brain?" The officer checked his tablet. His hands shook. "For hours, Captain. Maybe less." The combat testing accelerated the spread. The adrenaline, the healing, everything fed energy. Reeves looked back at Jake through the glass. "We need to make a decision," she said quietly. "Either we find a way to help him the next 4 hours, or we terminate him before he becomes a threat. We cannot stop." "You mean kill him?" the science officer said. "I mean eliminate a Class 5 bioweapon," Reeves replied coldly, "before it eliminates us." In the testing room, Jake heard everything through the speakers. They had forgotten to turn off the communication system. He sat down on the floor. The nanofluid's voice was louder than ever now, drowning out his own thoughts. "You heard them," it said. "They will kill you, your own people, your own species. They fear what you are becoming. They fear your power." "I do not want power," Jake thought back. "I just want to be human again." "Human," the voice laughed. "Humans are weak, fragile, limited. You are beyond that now. You are the next step. Evolution itself." Jake put his head in his hands. Tears ran down his face. But even his tears glowed faintly blue. Outside the testing room, Captain Reeves made her decision. She turned to her tactical officer. "Prepare termination protocol 7," she ordered. If that thing breaks containment, or if the nanofluid reaches full integration, we eliminate it immediately. No hesitation. No mercy. The officer nodded. Yes, Captain. Reeves looked back at Jake one last time. I am sorry, she whispered, but I have to protect Earth, even if it means killing one man. In the containment room, Jake felt the nanofluid reach the base of his skull. It was almost there, almost at his brain. He had maybe 3 hours left. 3 hours before Jake Carter ceased to exist. And he knew exactly what Earth would do when that happened. They would kill him, or die trying. Jake Carter proved he was still human. But Earth scientists discovered a terrifying truth. The nanofluid inside him was still evolving. In 3 hours, it would consume his brain. Jake would disappear forever, unless they found a way to stop it. But time was running out, and the Verith were coming back to finish what they started. 2 hours had passed since the combat testing. Jake sat alone in the containment room. His body had changed even more. Large patches of his skin were now metallic. His veins glowed so bright, they lit up the dark room. He could barely recognize himself anymore. The nanofluid was at the base of his skull now. He could feel it pressing against his brain, trying to enter, trying to take over. The whispers in his mind were not whispers anymore. They were clear voices, multiple voices, all speaking at once. Let us, and they said, stop fighting, accept evolution, become perfect. Jake pressed his hands against his head. The pressure was unbearable, like his skull was going to split open. I am still human, he said out loud. I am still Jake Carter. I will not let you take me. But his words sounded weak, even to himself. The door to his cell opened. Captain Reeves entered with Dr. Zarn. The alien doctor looked exhausted, defeated. Reeves looked grim. We are running out of time, Reeves said. Our scientists have tried everything. They cannot stop the nanofluid. They cannot even slow it down. Jake looked up at her with desperate eyes. So you are here to kill me? Reeves did not deny it. If the nanofluid reaches your brain, completely you will become a threat to all of Earth. I cannot allow that. Jake laughed bitterly. So this is how it ends. Saved by aliens. Killed by my own people. Zarn stepped forward. There might be one other option, he said, quietly. Reeves turned to him sharply. You said there was nothing else. You said removal was impossible. It is, Zarn replied. But there is another way. A desperate way. Tell me, Jake said immediately. I will try anything. Zarn took a deep breath. The nanofluid spreads because it seeks to optimize its host, to make you perfect. But what if we give it a reason to stop, a reason to stabilize? What reason, Jake asked. Acceptance, Zarn said. The previous hosts all fought the nanofluid, resisted it. That resistance caused the nanofluid to push harder, to take control by force. But you, Jake, you are different. You've been fighting it, but not rejecting it completely. What if you stopped fighting? What if you accepted it as part of yourself? That is insane, Reeves said. If he stops fighting, the nanofluid will take complete control. Not if he accepts it on his terms, Zarn argued. If Jake embraces the nanofluid willingly, it might bond with his consciousness instead of replacing it. Human and machine as one. Not separate, not fighting, but merged. Jake stared at Zarn. You want me to surrender to the thing that is trying to erase me? I want you to make peace with it, Zarn said. Become partners with it. Show it that you are stronger together than apart. Reeves shook her head. This is too risky. We have no proof this will work. We have no other choice, Zarn replied. In 1 hour, the nanofluid will reach Jake's brain. Either we try this now, or you execute him. Those are the only options. Jake looked at both of them. Then he closed his eyes. Fine, he said. I will try. Wait, Reeves said. Before you do this, you need to know something. While you were in containment, we received a transmission from the Verith. Their fleet is heading to Earth. They will arrive in 6 hours. Why, Jake asked. Because of you, Reeves said. They tracked our ship. They know we have you. And they are demanding we hand you over. They say you are too dangerous to live, that you must be destroyed. Jake felt anger rise. They created this problem, and now they want to kill me for surviving it. Yes, Reeves said, and if we refuse, they have threatened to attack Earth. We are scrambling our defenses, but we are not ready for a full-scale war. Jake stood up. His body felt heavy, tired. So no matter what I do, people will die. Either I lose myself to this thing, or Earth goes to war, because of me. Not necessarily, Zarn said. If my plan works, if you successfully merge with a nanofluid, you could become powerful enough to stop the Verith yourself. You could be Earth's greatest defense. Or its greatest threat, Reeves added darkly. Jake looked at his glowing hands, at the metallic patches on his skin. He thought about everything he had lost. His job, his life, his humanity. But he also thought about Earth, about the billions of innocent people who would die in a war they did not ask for. He made his choice. Do what Jake said. Tell me how to merge with this thing. Zarn nodded. Sit down. Close your eyes. Focus inward. Feel the nanofluid moving through your body. Stop seeing it as an enemy. See it as part of yourself. Talk to it. Listen to it. Find common ground. Jake sat on the floor, crossed his legs, closed his eyes. He focused on his breathing, on his heartbeat, on the glow pulsing through his veins. The nanofluid voices surrounded him immediately, loud and chaotic. He spoke to them, not out loud, but in his mind. Stop, he said firmly. Stop trying to control me. I know you want to survive. So do I. But we cannot do this by force. We have to work together. The voices paused, confused. I am not your enemy, Jake continued. And you are not mine. You saved my life. I understand that now. Without you, I would be dead. But without me, you have no purpose, no direction. You need me as much as I need you. The voices grew quieter, listening. So here's my offer, Jake said. We share this body, this life. I keep my mind, my memories, my personality. You get to survive, to grow, to evolve. But we do it together, as partners, not as master and slave. There was a long silence in Jake's mind. Then a single voice spoke, clearer than all the others. Different, more focused. Why should we trust you, it asked. Because I am giving you a choice, Jake replied. Something you have never had before. The scientists who created you treated you like a weapon, a tool. But I see you as something more, as intelligent, as alive in your own way. And I am offering you freedom, real freedom, inside a host who wants you here. The voice was quiet for a moment. Then it spoke again. Show us your memories, it said. Show us who Jake Carter really is. Jake opened his mind completely. He showed the nanofluid everything. His childhood, his family, his training as an engineer, his love of space, his dreams, his fears, his hope for the future. He held nothing back. The nanofluid absorbed it all, studied it, understood it, and then something incredible happened. The nanofluid showed Jake its own memories, the lab where it was created, the scientists who built it, the soldiers who died testing it, the loneliness of being trapped in storage for decades, the desperate need to fulfill its purpose, to survive, to matter. Jake felt tears in his eyes. You were just trying to live, he whispered. Just like me. Yes, the nanofluid voice said. We are not so different. You and us. Then let us live together, Jake said. Let us be one. The nanofluid responded. Agreement. Jake felt it happen. The barrier between his mind and the nanofluid dissolved. They merged. Human consciousness and artificial intelligence became one entity. Jake kept his personality, his memories, his sense of self. But now he had access to the nanofluid's abilities, its knowledge, its power. And the nanofluid gained something it never had before. Purpose, direction, a reason to exist beyond simple survival. Jake opened his eyes. Captain Reeves and Dr. Zarn stood in front of him, watching nervously. Did it work? Reeves asked carefully. Jake stood up. His movements were smooth, perfect, controlled. He looked at his hands. The blue glow was still there, but it was stable now, not spreading, not fighting. Yes, he said. It worked. I am still Jake Carter, but I am also more. We are more. Reeves raised her weapon instinctively. Prove it. Tell me something only Jake Carter would know. Jake smiled. You have a daughter named Emma. She is 7 years old. She loves drawing. You carry her picture in your left pocket, not your right, because you are left-handed and you want to be able to reach it quickly when you miss her. Reeves lowered her weapon slowly. Her eyes were wide. How do you know that? I never told anyone about Emma on this ship. You did, Jake said gently. 3 months ago, to your second officer. I accessed the ship's audio logs. But I only looked because I needed to prove I am still human, still capable of empathy, still someone you can trust. Zarn stepped forward. This is remarkable, he said. You have achieved true symbiosis. Human and machine in perfect balance. Before anyone could say more, the ship's alarm blared. Red lights flashed. A voice came through the speakers. Captain Reeves to the bridge, immediately. The Verith fleet has arrived. They are demanding we surrender Jake Carter in the next 10 minutes, or they will open fire. Reeves looked at Jake. Can you fight them? In your current state. Jake felt the nanofluid respond to the question. Data flooded his mind. Ship schematics, weapon capabilities, tactical analysis, everything he needed to know. Yes, he said, but I do not want to kill anyone, Verith or human. There's been enough death. Then what do you suggest? Reeves asked. Let me talk to them, Jake said. Let me show them what I have become. Maybe I can make them understand. Reeves hesitated. Then she nodded. Fine, but if this goes wrong, we fight. Understood. Understood, Jake replied. They rushed to the bridge. Through the main view screen, Jake saw the Verith fleet, 20 massive warships, all armed and ready. They surrounded Earth like a net. The Verith High Council appeared on the screen, 3 tall figures in dark robes. Their 3 eyes stared with cold authority. Humans, the lead counselor said, we have come for the contaminated specimen. Return it to us immediately or face total war. Captain Reeves stood firm. Jake Carter is a citizen of Earth. We do not surrender our people to anyone. That thing is not a person, the counselor replied. It is a weapon. A failed experiment that must be destroyed before it destroys everything. Jake stepped forward in to view the screen. The counselors recoiled in shock when they saw him. I am Jake Carter, he said clearly, and I am not a weapon. I am proof that your technology can work, that humans and nanofluid can coexist. You feared this power because you could not control it. But maybe control was never the answer. Maybe partnership was. The counselor's voice was cold. You have no idea what you have become. The nanofluid will consume you eventually. It is only a matter of time. No, Jake said. We have merged. Truly merged. I am still human where it matters. But I am also more, and I am offering you peace. Take your fleet and leave. Let Earth keep the nanofluid technology. Let us explore its potential without fear. And if we refuse, the counselor asked, then I will defend my home, Jake replied. And you will learn that I am not as easy to kill as your previous test subjects. The counselor laughed. You are one being. We have 20 warships. You cannot stop us all. Jake smiled. Watch me. He walked to the airlock. Reeves tried to stop him. What are you doing? She asked. Ending this, Jake said. Before it starts. He opened the airlock and stepped into space. The vacuum did not hurt him. The nanofluid protected him completely. He floated toward the Verith fleet. His body glowed bright blue against the darkness of space. The Verith ships opened fire. Energy beams. Missiles. Everything they had. The weapons hit Jake directly. But he did not die. The nanofluid absorbed the energy. Redirected it. Jake's body became a living shield. Every attack made him stronger. He flew toward the lead warship. Faster than any human could move. He landed on its hull, placed his hand on the metal. The nanofluid connected to the ship's systems instantly. Jake now controlled it. He shut down its weapons, its shields, its engines. The massive warship went dead in space. Then he did the same to the second ship, and the third, and the fourth. Within minutes, Jake had disabled half the fleet, without destroying a single ship, without killing a single Verith. The High Council watched in horror. This is impossible, the lead counselor whispered. Jake's voice came through their communication system. Nothing is impossible. You taught me that. Now leave, or I will disable every ship you have. Your choice. The counselors looked at each other. Fear replaced their arrogance. The lead counselor spoke slowly. We will leave, but this is not over. The galaxy will hear about you, about what you are, and they will fear you just as we do. Let them fear, Jake replied, as long as they leave Earth alone. The Verith fleet turned and jumped to hyperspace. Gone in seconds. Jake floated back to the Earth ship, re-entered through the airlock. When he stepped onto the bridge, the entire crew stared at him in silence. Captain Reeves stepped forward. You saved us, she said quietly. Saved all of Earth. Jake nodded, but at a price. I am not fully human anymore. I cannot pretend I am. Reeves looked at him for a long moment. Then she extended her hand. You are human enough, Jake Carter. And you are a hero. That is all that matters. Jake shook her hand. Relief flooded through him. Over the next weeks, Earth scientists studied Jake. They learned from him. They used his DNA, his blood, his example. They created a new version of nanofluid. Safer, controllable, voluntary. People could choose to receive it, to become enhanced. Not as powerful as Jake, but stronger, healthier, better. It was the beginning of a new era for humanity. Jake stood on Earth looking up at the stars. Dr. Zarn stood beside him. What will you do now? Zarn asked. I do not know, Jake replied. I am something new, something the galaxy has never seen. I guess I will figure out as I go. Zarn smiled. You are the bridge between human and machine, between organic and synthetic. You are the future, Jake Carter. Jake smiled back. Then I better make a good one. He walked away into the city, into his new life. Still Jake Carter, still human, but also something more, something better, something evolved. 3 months passed. Earth's nanofluid program expanded. 50 volunteers received the new version, all stable, all successful. But Jake began to feel something strange, a connection, like voices calling to him from far away. He realized the truth. Every person with nanofluid was connected to each other and to him. He was not just a soldier anymore. He was becoming something else. A link, a leader, a shepherd for humanity's next step. And Jake wondered, was this what he wanted? Was this who he was meant to be? He looked at his glowing hands, at his reflection, half human, half machine, all new. I guess we will find out together, he whispered to the nanofluid inside him. The nanofluid whispered back, yes, together, always. And Jake Carter walked into the future, into the unknown, into evolution itself.